Good morning, everyone. This is Scott, or the Scott Man, and we are here at Burntcoat Head Park. This is home to some of the, or if not the highest tides in the entire world. We are at the Bay of Fundy, which is well known for its extreme high and low tides. Here at Burntcoat, the tide extremes could be as much as 16.3 meters or 53.5 feet. And today we're going to have the privilege of checking out both the low tide and high tide. So we're going to check out the park this morning here at low tide, although it's probably about another hour or a little bit over that. And then we'll head off and check out some other cool things, and then we'll come back and experience high tide.
But yeah, while you're here at the park, don't forget about the lighthouse that's here too. It was rebuilt back in 1994.
Alright, and here we are at the viewpoint. We got the spectacular view of the Bay of Fundy way out there. It's not quite low tide yet, but probably about an hour away, and look how amazing that is. You can see you can see the sea floor over there, and of course you got the water way out there too. But yeah, it's like, yeah, just reading the sign, it's like, yeah, the whole Bay of Fundy itself is about 400 kilometers long. We're at the, I'm basically reading it right now. It's like at the northeastern end of the Bay of Fundy, there are like northeastern arms. We're on the Quebecois Bay. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, but what we're going to do next is we're going to head to the sea floor. We should be able to walk on the sea floor. And ladies and gentlemen, we are walking on the sea floor right now. Look how cool this is. And then yeah, you got spectacular views of the Flower Pot Island with all the tide erosion over the centuries. It is carved into the red sandstone to create this spectacular landmass. But just think, several hours from now, if I was here right now, I'd be completely underwater. And we're about 10 minutes from low tide, and this is as far as we can go. Here's the Bay of Fundy. We're probably just about a couple meters away. This is really, really awesome. This has been such an adventure here today. But yeah, just think in a couple hours or so, or maybe even less than that, the water is going to slowly start creeping back toward the actual shore and head back to that Flower Pot Island. So, time for us to make the trip back. Oh, great to be back up. But yeah, that was absolutely amazing. So cool to walk on the sea floor. It's like, couldn't even imagine it. But yeah, if you saw the little closed off area at the very beginning of our little walk today, that's where the endangered mud pit species are resting. So they try to keep everybody away from there. And unfortunately, I look at my hiking shoes. I brought 2 pairs of shoes just in case. Yeah, they didn't get all that muddy. Although some people's shoes, they definitely can. What's nice is that they do give you an area to where you can wash your feet or wash your shoes. So it's all good. All right, so we'll be coming back in a few hours when we're getting close to high tide. And of course, keep in mind where we were walking moments ago, we will not be able to go down there, which you'll see why. But so yeah, and at the end of the video, I'll even do a little bit of a compare and contrast for the low and high tide. All right, so what we're gonna do next is I'm going to leave Burntcoat Head Park, and we're gonna spend the next few hours over at the Grand-Pré area. But I'll probably go get some lunch off camera too, or in a Trail of the Lights video. Oh yeah, and one other thing I forgot to talk about too is that if you go to the park's website, they'll tell you when high and low tides are, so that way you can plan your trip well, so that way you can visit high tide, low tide, or even both. Because who knows, if you time it just right, you could watch the sunset from the sea floor. Just think of that. All right, we're in Walton, Nova Scotia. Just a very, 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 very small, tiny town located along the Bay of Fundy. I'm stopping here to get some lunch. Well, not there, but at the Walton pub. I'll be covering that in a Trail of the Lights video. It's one cool thing about finding these random eating establishments out in the middle of nowhere, for the most part, is that they usually have some great local cuisine.
Approaching your destination.
All right, so we've made it to the Grand-Pré historic site. This is gonna be my little stop I'm gonna make while waiting for the tide to come in at the Bay of Fundy. So let's go check this place out. Alright, so after paying for your ticket inside, they have a pretty cool exhibit inside, or just come outside and check out some cool things. But they have a little bit more about the history. So the Acadians, they were French settlers from Western France who settled here like in the late 17th century into the region known as Acadia. And the settlers' children, and thereafter were known as Acadians. And they call this area home. And unfortunately, what happened in 1755 is that they were deported by the British, and they were forced to leave the land that they called home. So from 1755 through 1763, they were banished to other colonies owned by Britain, such as like Massachusetts, all along the east coast of the present-day United States, all the way down to Georgia, or even some even went to England, or even to present-day Louisiana. However, in 1763, the banishment did end, but only very little did return. And this statue right here depicts a family about to be deported from this beautiful area they called home. But yeah, it's such a sad story. As we continue down the trail, we come across a statue of Evangeline. She was the symbol of the Acadian deportation back back in 1755, based off Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's epic poem, eventually A Tale of Acadian.
And it was through Longfellow's tale which allowed many people to learn more about the deportation of the Acadians and be very sympathetic to the tragedy that happened with the deportation. And one fun fact too is that Longfellow also wrote the poem the Song of Hiawatha, which is very a popular tale back in my home state of Michigan. And yeah, what this is, that is the Memorial Church. And yeah, back to that statue of Evangeline, I forgot to mention that statue was constructed back in 1919. It is 100 years old as of this year. This church was built back in 1922. It was funded by different Acadian communities all throughout North America. And this church expresses the Acadian strong attachment to this historic site. And we come over to the northeast part of the historic site. This is Herbert Cross. This was built by John Frederick Herbert around 1909, and this was the site of the Acadian cemetery of the Grand-Pré parish, which is called Saint-Charles de Mine. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But yeah, the historic site would not even exist without the great dedication of Herbert, along with many other great Acadians.
That was a very cool historic site. I really enjoy learning about the Acadian deportation and as well as their heritage too. And one cool thing is that Acadians, although most of them did not return, but the ones who did still have some great communities here in Nova Scotia today, even over in New Brunswick as well. But yeah, this is one historic site I definitely recommend checking out, because yeah, it's definitely important to learn about Acadian culture, as well as about the tragedy that happened back in 1755 through 1763. I could not even imagine if I was an Acadian back in 1755. I would have been really depressed if I would have been forced to be deported from a land I call home for so long. Because yeah, with capturing the landscape at the historic site and even surrounding areas, I would not want to leave a home like this. Okay, so high tide should be getting close, so we're gonna make our way back to Burntcoat Head Park and check out the park at high tide, and we'll conclude the video there. Scottman's back again. Scottman's back. Scottman's back. Scottman's back. Scottman's back. Na 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 na. We are back at Burntcoat Head Park. It's been several hours since I was last here, but now things are gonna look a lot different. Let's go check this out. And here we are. Look how much different it looks compared to where we were, or compared to earlier. Because yeah, it's like where that water is right there. That was where I was walking on the seafloor earlier in this video. How amazing is that? amazing how much in over 6 hours this whole entire seascape has completely changed. I have never seen anything like this ever in my life so far. This is incredible. That is definitely something. But yeah, since low tide and high tide, which is right around now, about 100 cubic kilometers of water has flushed into the bay to give us the results we're seeing right now. That is really, really something. I've had such an amazing time here at Burntcoat Head Park, both this morning and late this afternoon, to check out the low and high tide. And then while we wait between low and high tide, got some lunch in Walton, and then also check out Grand-Pré to learn more about the Acadian deportation. Very special thanks to YouTuber Canadian Kelsey for giving me kind of like a rough itinerary of different things to check out today, and also in different areas around Nova Scotia. Although I altered the itinerary a little bit to reflect more about the times I was going to be going to each site, and especially with Burntcoat to check out both low and high tide. But yeah, other than that though, yeah, very special thanks to her. Definitely check out her YouTube channel. She does a lot of different travel vlogs like I do, and then she even, oops, there's something, okay, I think it's gone, but she even does some different videos on Canada as well. So yeah, definitely check out her channel. She doesn't have many subscribers for some reason, but yeah, definitely go check out her channel. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's adventure here at Burntcoat Head Park, here along the Bay of Fundy, as well as the historical intermission at Grand-Pré National Historic Site, or Historic Site, because I had such an amazing time today. So if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click that subscribe button to come along and join me for the adventure, and don't forget to click that notification bell so that way you know when a new video goes live. Thank you for watching. And this is Scott, or the Scott Man, signing out from the Bay of Fundy, Nova Scotia.